Hello everyone. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Thank you. Chicago Med's new showrunner, Alan McDonald, gives One Chicago Center the breakdown on what's ahead in Season 10, including how the new docs will shake things up, how the fallout of the final will impact Ripley and Asher, and more. It's a season of change for Chicago Med, not just in front of the camera, with yet another wave of casting shakeups, with new faces entering the mix as another beloved favorite departs, but also behind the scenes. After 9 seasons running the show, longtime showrunners Andy Schneider and Diane Frolov have handed over the reins to Alan McDonald, who is looking to build upon the strong foundation already in place, while shaking things up to keep things fresh as the show enters its 10th season. As part of the shakeups ahead is the looming departure of yet another longtime member of the cast, whose exit comes as the show prepares to welcome a few new faces to the mix, as well as part of a new storyline that promises to pave the way for many exciting stories to come. Ahead of Chicago Med's return, One Chicago Center caught up with Chicago Med's new showrunner, who gave us the scoop on what's ahead this season, including teases of the fallout from the Season 9 finale, plans for Crockett's exit, and how the newest doctors checking in will shake up the dynamics of the show. Well, it's been a lot of fun. Everyone has been very welcoming here. As far as the passing of the torch, the first thing I had to do was watch 176 episodes of Chicago Med to get myself nice and caught up, which I did. And not surprisingly, I fell in love with the characters in the world, and I just felt creatively that the show had been built on a really successful, strong, emotional, dramatic foundation by Andy Schneider and Diane Frolov, the previous showrunners. That was just something I just wanted to continue to build on with my own unique brand and style, and those of the people on the writing staff. I've said this many times, but I was a big fan of 2 medical TV shows on NBC. One was Street Elsewhere in the 80s, and one was ER in the 90s, and they both had profound effects on me as a writer in that they were both very dramatic and very emotional, but also at times would have quirky senses of humor. I love that in a medical drama, the assertion of a little bit of humor. I don't like joke like in a sitcom. Not that there's anything wrong with sitcoms, I love sitcoms. But I like the humor to come from humanity, that people recognize it in themselves, and so they can relate to it. I believe that builds a stronger bond between the characters and the audience. The cliffhanger was very dramatic, and it is definitely something that hangs over the season premiere, especially with Ripley. This question of what was Ripley's involvement, if any, with Paul Wapniewski's attack in the season finale. Of course, it was very dramatic in the last scene when Paul comes in, and his eyes all smashed up for lack of a better description. He immediately points at Ripley and says, "You did this, you did this." In the season premiere of episode 10, we do a time jump of 1 month, and we basically find out that Ripley and Hannah have an iciness between them. What we unpack very quickly is that he's never been transparent and told her what his involvement with the attack on Paul was, if he was involved with that. So everything is pretty much on hold between them, and that is a question that lingers over the entire episode, and you do find out what happened by the end of the season opener. You will find that out very quickly in the first 5 minutes of the season premiere. The teaser I will give is that we do see Liliana. Well, you know, my instinct is to tease that you'll just have to watch. But I think it's unfair because Dominic does not return at the top of season 10, and we explain his departure pretty quickly. The reason I decided to do that was just simply because I felt that Dr. Crockett Marcel had already been written out at the end of last season. It was left in a way that he could come back, or if he left it, it was understandable that he had some issues of his own that he needed to work out in terms of his grieving process for the loss of his daughter. I didn't really feel there was a need to bring him back to write him out because I felt that had been done. Yeah, I would say that's completely accurate. That's a very good question because it kind of touches on one of the things I love about this one Chicago world, which is that it is this big world of 3 shows, and people come in and out of it. Specifically to Chicago Med, people come in and out of it because it is a world inhabited by characters, and there are some from the past that have gone, and we have new ones. I'm very interested, and there are no solid plans at the moment for this, but I'm very interested in bringing back characters from the past and seeing how they react to the characters they knew in the past, and with the new characters that we've added because I would love to see that, and I think the audience would too. I'll start with Dr. Caitlin Lenox, who's phenomenally played by Sarah Ramos, who the audience may recognize from The Bear and Parenthood. She just is nailing this role of Lenox. You'll find in the season premiere that a nearby hospital is closing down due to a lack of money, and that Goodwin tells the Gaffney staff that we will be absorbing all that work, and all those patients and things are gonna get a lot more tense. So Goodwin has hired Lenox to come in and help out in the ED because she feels we need the help. Lenox is former military, has a very disciplined personality because she was in the military, and she very much is about efficiency. She is not so much about personal relationships. She feels like getting too chummy with your coworkers or people in general just gets in the way of that efficiency. It's not that she doesn't care about her patients, it's just she feels like she's doing a disservice to her patients in general if she spends too much time with each one. She wants to help as many people as possible. One of the main reasons that I created Lenox and brought her on the show is because I wanted a foil for Dr. Archer. I want to see Dr. Archer get really grouchy because I enjoy that, and I think the audience does too. She is someone who does not say things nicely, and she gets underneath everyone's skin to some degree. Now we will see little bits and pieces of her background and why she's the way that she is, but for a large part of the season, she'll be a mystery. He is on staff for the hospital that's closing, and in the first episode, he brings a patient into the ED from that hospital because she's not getting the proper care at the other hospital because they're in the process of closing. He cares very much about children. He's a big defender of children, and he feels as his operating principles as a pediatrician that you should always be honest with children about what's going on with their bodies. If they're sick, that they should be involved in conversations about how to treat whatever issue they have medically, and parents don't always agree with that. They want to protect children. So you'll see him clash, especially in episode 2, with parents about how honest to be with children with their child. The reason that he is like that, not surprisingly like so many of us is, issues with his own parents growing up who he's completely cut ties with. And the reason he's such a protector of children is because he thought that his parents did not protect him. Thanks for watching this video. Please subscribe to our Chicago Pete official channel and stay with us.